7 months. That's how long it's been since I shared the news with you that I joined the religion of Porsche ownership. Back then, I did promise you some updates and forthcoming changes to the car. Today, I am delivering. Now, some of those updates, you will not be surprised at all. Others, you're definitely not expecting. So today I have 4 updates for you. Let's start with the one you will not be surprised about and we're fully expecting, and that would be the seat inserts. If you remember in our premiere episode, I shared with you the tale of having to switch from the 18-way seats, which I wanted, to the sport seats. The reason why Porsche wouldn't offer the Pepita or the Tartan inserts on non-heritage cars. So even if you ponied up for a GT, they said, you didn't buy a Sport Classic or one of the other limited production cars, which we are reserving those fabrics for. Now, yes, that is a complete beatdown, and before I get into the details of how I made this interior tartan, a bit of a backstory. There was a very creative and industrious employee from Porsche Cars North America, one of the regional guys, and he was charged, amongst other duties, dealing with like the CXX and Sonderwunsch kind of stuff. And I told him my problem. He goes, look, I'm going to find a way around this. And he comes back to me a couple weeks later and he goes, I found a way. Number one, you got to switch your order to a wing car. And number two, you got to go complete CXX. That's the absolute customization of every piece on the interior. Not the Porsche exclusive manufacture interior that you see here, which was a standalone option. Rather, you do this, and then once the car is finished, they pull it off the line, and they rip out every panel inside this interior, and you can select every last crumb. Like if I want this like neon green and this lizard yellow, yes, it's bad taste, but you can do it. That was the only way to get the factory tartan and the factory Pepita or whatever you wanted. And even he said, I probably shouldn't be saying this because I want this guy to stay there for a long time because of his honesty. He's like, look, man, my job is to tell you this kind of stuff. But we're talking about 50 grand just to get inserts that really should cost you from the factory 5 grand. He said, go and do it this way. And he found a couple of people offering insert kits. Like you guys probably know Justin Plasick. He's very well known on Instagram. I spoke to him and talked to him about it. He was more than willing to do it. Super cool guy, very helpful. But of course, you know me, I don't like making my life simple. So I, of course, looked at it as, I'm going to do it as a homegrown project. Remind me never to do something so stupid again. I thought it would be very simple. Buy the foams, source the tartan, and then find a trimmer, right? How hard could that be? So I went to Porsche Santa Clarita. They very kindly offered me the foams. Apparently, like Justin, guys like that, what they do is they have molded their own foams, which are orders of magnitude cheaper than buying it from Porsche. But of course, I like pain in my life. And I went and found Lochcarron. When you think of tartan, any kind of tartan, you know, family tartan from Scotland, this is Lochcarron. You should check them out online. No advertisement here because they charged me the rack rate, which was surprisingly cheap. Each yard of this material, this tartan, was something like $63. So that's where like the homegrown thing was, I would say, a benefit. I got to do it and kind of have the satisfaction of putting the project together myself. I am not a trimmer, so I wasn't going to try to sew the thing together. I found a local guy to do that. So I sourced the 5 yards of it, so I have a lot of it extra. And I got the foams in from Porsche. But then, of course, the trimmer puts it all together, and he's looking at it, and he's like, and this guy knows Porsches, he's like, there's something wrong with the foam on the passenger side. I'm like, oh my God, do I have to send this back? Because it took like, I want to say 6 weeks to get the foams. And basically what they do, there's 2 types of airbag sensors. There's an older one for these seats where the airbag sensor sits above the cradle or the bottom cradle of the seat. And there's one that sits below it, which is the newest version, which I have. And of course, Porsche AG sent to Porsche Cars North America the wrong right seat foam for the bottom. So while I was waiting for the correct foam to arrive, I left the original black factory insert installed on the passenger side. The driver's side, we had already finished the seat back with the tartan, so we installed that to give me some motivation, some hope for the future. The seat bottom, that was a completely different kettle of fish. Apparently there was another part that was required to anchor the front of the seat bottom to the actual frame of the seat. It's called a J-channel. It's a piece of plastic that's very flexible, and it sews to the front of the seat cushion and then hooks onto the seat frame. Simple enough, right? Well, I couldn't find this part, so I kept this insert out of the car, and I found one of those like hernia pillows, and I put that, and I was driving on that for something like 3, almost 4 months while I was trying to find this part. And I'd walk around almost like a beggar and turn the original factory seat insert over and say, do you have this part, to every like upholstery shop in town. Even took it out of town. I couldn't find anything. What I ended up doing was beg, borrowing, stealing like contacts. A friend of mine who you guys know kind of does these reviews as well. He's got a couple of cars, and he knew an upholstery guy, Torrance. I call that guy, I'm like, hey, you know, so-and-so suggested I call you. And I tell him what the part, he goes, oh yeah, I've got it. And he's like, what do you want? I'm like, well, I just need the part. I already finished the inserts. Oh, so you don't want to buy a whole set? I'm like, no, he wouldn't sell me the part. And I'm like, what a jackass. So I ended up calling around some more, and it turns out a guy that I had met at a Cars and Coffee, super cool dude, Petru, from Studio Paguzzi. You're going to see an upcoming episode at Luftgekult, and he did an incredible interior on, of all cars, a yellow Porsche 944. Can't wait to share that with you. Anyway, I end up calling Petru on the off chance they can help me, knows exactly what I'm talking about, tells me to come up to the studio, gives me a tour. It's like Aladdin's cave. Then at the end of the tour, he hands me both of the parts that I need, doesn't even charge me. I race over to my trimmer, and I hand him the parts. We both look at them as if we had just found the sword in the stone. And then he attaches them to the inserts. We finally have a complete set of inserts. Now, you got to understand the goal I was going for here. I wanted 2 self-contained sets of inserts. My trimmer, God bless him, nearly lost patience with me. He just wanted to rip the J-channel off the factory one and said, we'll just replace it when you find the part. I knew if we took the pressure off, the goal of trying to find that part, we would never find it, and I'd have one set from the factory. It doesn't fit back in the car, and the goal was to match the build sheet. So yes, that's my OCD side. So there we are. We finally have the finished set. It's time to install them, and this is where it's a homegrown project. I want to do it myself, man. So I get it installed there, no problem. The J-channel took a little bit of doing to get it attached to the front of the seat. Over here, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how to do it without ripping the seat out, because that now factory airbag sensor that's been updated, of course, for 2023 to make it more difficult, you have to basically pull the seat out. So I tried to figure out, is there a way to do this? And again, I call Petru. I'm like, hey man, you know, how do you do this? He's like, just bring the car up. And once again, the guy helped me. He had it in and out of here in like 10 minutes, and we had the insert in, and finally the project was done in his shop. What? 6.5 months after I got the car. So that is the sort of detail, or really the very painful story, of trying to hack a Porsche interior yourself. And here we come to the point of our story that anyone that has renovated a home or restored a car knows full well the project is never done. Kind of like rest and let a solution occur. Now, there could be ideas from the outset, as was the case for me, or you could make changes and along the way you see a new opportunity. Well, here's an opportunity that I saw when I was first speccing out the car. I didn't really like the mats the car came with. They're like these just basic black floor mats. They're the same you get in like a Cayenne. Yeah, they got the Porsche script there, which I'm not particularly excited about. So I wanted to change it, and of course I looked through the Porsche options, and yeah, they have like leather floor mats. And I'll be honest, it screamed douchebag to me. I wanted to do something that brought up the heritage of the car and tied into the tartan interior that I had envisioned but wasn't done yet. But it couldn't be just tartan floor mats. Like I saw that on a Morgan back in the day. It wasn't actually floor mats. The carpets inside a Morgan Aero Supersports were tartan, and then they put like regular floor mats over it. It was incredible. Whoever has that car, God bless you. So that was kind of the inspiration. I figured I needed some contrast. There was just too much black in the two-tone, like on the floor and on the door panels. So I decided, let's do this, to bring in more cognac. And basically what I did here was pick up the idea of a Porsche 901. If you look at the floor mats in early Porsches, early BMWs, early Mercedes, they have a German box weave on the mat. And that is something you see in a lot of these like resto mod cars, like the folks like the Gunther Works and the Singers of the world kind of do this in their cars. Now the logic I used here is very simple. I wanted to go with an understated theme for the floor covering of the car because after all, it's the floor. The carpet is black, as are the mats from the factory. Now, one of the things you could have spec'd out from the factory with these mats is leather trim around the perimeter of the mat. So that's where I decided to tie my mat with the factory mat and have leather trim around the German box weave pattern. But if you remember, I spec'd the interior to have contrast stitch throughout in Guards Red. So we picked that up and repeated the Guards Red contrast stitch around the perimeter of the mat. Then I had to go back to Porsche Santa Clarita to get more Porsche factory parts. The factory mats have these anchors in them, most cars do. So I had to order that part, and now it fits in to the factory anchors that are embedded within the carpet. But then there was one more detail, and if I'm honest, these floor mats, I envisioned them for car show use because I have been displaying the car at car shows, maybe occasional use when I'm taking it out for like a weekend or something like that, but this is what I'm using on a regular basis. So the idea was to pick up the functionality from, say, like a 1972 BMW mat, where they had the rubber here just below the pedal box, so this way your ankles don't wear out the German box weave. There's a couple of ways in which we tried to interpret that, but we wanted to make it, again, as understated as possible, because the interior, it has so much detail now, especially with a tartan in there. And the idea was, let's not have your eyes go away from the tartan seats, but I wanted something unique where it brings it all together, and that cognac, it breaks up the sea of black. And that was really the logic in going with cognac mats. I'm thinking about doing another set where these are black with cognac around here and use it for different show purposes. But even I have to admit, that's probably going overboard, and I will most likely think better of it. That brings us to the third update. How's it going? So far, just over 3,000 miles in 7 months. In fact, I turned that 3,000 miles driving the car up here. Obviously, I don't daily the car with that kind of mileage. There's been a couple of days I take it out and use it on a daily basis to break up the monotony of crossovers and electric cars. And in doing that, I had a bit of a mishap. I picked up a screw or a nail in the tire in the back. And I think I told you, I don't really buy extended warranties, but I did buy the key, glass, wheel, and tire insurance. Very glad I did, because the rear tires on this thing, $660, so I already have an ROI for the cost of that warranty. Then there's been some odd things. I got caught in the rain, I believe, once, and the intermittent wipers, they don't work, so we're going to check that out. There have been 2 recalls since I've gotten the car. I brought it in for one, which wasn't a big deal. I got to bring it in for the second one because the windshield's got to be looked at. From what I understand, from 2020 to 2024 model year 911, so basically 992s, they don't know if the bonding was correct. So that gets me a little nervous, changing the front windshield of the car. And then this whole project that I've done here, I decided to go with the factory inserts because I didn't really want to screw with the airbag system. The sensor is in the bottom of that foam. And long and short of the story, it still has to be reset by the dealer, even if you use the Porsche part. And that brings us to the important business of her name. You may remember in the episode where I first shared the news of her arrival, I asked for your help in naming her, gave you a couple of parameters. I name all my cars after Bond girls, could be the character's name or the actress that played the character. Now, surprise of surprises, a lot of you voted for Pussy Galore. I wonder why. Couldn't do that route because I already named one of my Elises in the UK Pussy Galore, so that was off the table. Then a number of you went with Domino, and I love the name Domino, but I just didn't love that movie. Then I think the most votes came in for Vesper Lynn, and this is where I think you and I were kind of on the same wavelength here, because that's what I was thinking, because there was so much going on in putting this whole thing together, and that was the Vesper Lynn character. But I felt there was something more there, so I dug a bit deeper into it. Because remember, it comes up in two different adaptations of Bond. There was the satire in the 50s and then Casino Royale. And if you look at the actual Casino Royale movie, the actress that played Vesper Lynd, Eva Green. And the original color I was going to go here, the PTS that I wanted, the forest green, Eva Green. Get it? So I'm just dropping the green because she's blue now, and her official name is Eva. Vielen Dank. Now, there's just one more thing. Now, those of you that are still watching this Porsche cult video know that I'm a design freak, and I could not leave well enough alone. A Frunk mat to pick up the tartan on the inside of the car, as well as the cognac from the inside of the car, which is leather trim around the perimeter of the Frunk mat. The back is carpeting, so it stays inside the Frunk, and this is form fit to the Frunk of the car. This is one of those things that came up throughout the process. I didn't originally envision this. Believe it or not, I was here at the Malibu Cigar Lounge chatting with the guys. We were talking about the different textiles I was using and how long the car was taking. And one of the guys who's in the spirits business, I believe, he was coming up with ideas for accessories. He went so far as like, hey, you're probably gonna have a lot of that tartan left over. How about slippers to match your car? That I probably won't do, but this came out of the same discussion, and this probably is my most favorite upgrade throughout this entire process. So those are all the updates as of May 3rd, 2024 from Eva's Corner of the World. As things progress, we will continue to bring you more updates. But you must know that Petru and I are in negotiations for, of course, more bits for the interior. And I did just shoot her Luftgekühlt debut at Airwater last week in Orange County. That was an unexpected learning experience. Keep an eye out for that episode. And here I need to close this update or installment with some thank yous. Yes, I decided to do this project myself because I wanted the experience. Did it save me money? No, it probably cost about the same as if I had done it through that guy Justin Plasik over in Europe. But I got the learning, I got the rapid prototyping of making parts for a car like this. I got to know this more intimately. I also got to know the Porsche parts supply network, which has challenges. But all that aside, huge thank you to, of course, Petru, and then Armin, who runs the service department at Porsche Santa Clarita, all the people along the way who provided insight and encouragement when this took unusually long, and of course my trimmer. There's two of them. You know their work very well, but I am not allowed to share who they are. It's top secret. With that, if you got value out of this episode, I would highly suggest that you watch our PDI episode with this very car. It was a masterclass on how a car company and a car dealership work together to ship a car to its final delivery point and get it ready for the road. There are things I didn't know, and the guy who did it, he just watch it because you will learn so much whether you're a Porsche guy or not. You can see the episode here. Until I see you in the next episode, bis später.